Guys, welcome to my channel again here, and now let's go back to another video of speedrun. So in this video we will play obviously a game of rapid, right? 10 minutes plus 0 second increment when I try to explain you thinking process of me, also asking you some questions and explain some ideas in the games, right? But I think it can be instructive to learn together. So let's go to the game right away. Hopefully we can all enjoy the content together. Let's go. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, it was white here against, I think, a Canadian player. I guess I will go for a Catalan this time. I guess. Let's see. Okay, here C4. Haven't tried before, so let's go for the Catalan. The idea here mainly is to try to put bishop on G2, you know, when I can be able to control the long diagonal. Also, I can be able to exert strong pressure there as well. But okay, he play C5 instead. This is getting into a very rare, I mean, not a very rare, but actually like kind of a different kind of things. So here I can play plenty of steps. By playing this move, Black wants to put pressure right away on the center, right? So I can play plenty of things. E3 is the modest way. Defend a pawn here and don't change the pawn structures. But I'm not a fan of that, since it blocks my old bishop, you know, and then it is a bit too modest. Knight 3 here is also doable as well, which can lead to the line with like here, but I guess I'll play D5, which is like more natural and something like, I guess, give me some more activities. D5. Knight F6, Knight C3, and now surprisingly, we're getting to Benoni. Take here, D6, and then okay, I can place very many lines here. But now, I mean, I wanted to play the Catalan, but suddenly we got Benoni Variation. I don't think if you guys have seen it a lot of times. I guess in early level, this should be a rare opening, but in fact, it is a line that is definitely doable. Okay, B6. This one already is a wrong move. I don't know, I guess that he didn't know theory as well. So I think you want to play bishop here, right? To go for the bishop, main pawn d5 here. It's like my only real accuse. I guess the way to play here is like this one, you know. But I will mention the line later on, after the game finish. So now I play e4. Just defend the pawn on d5 here. Control the center. And also open up some bishops. Get out. I will still trying to play some natural ones. And obviously, explain to you the main idea of the moves, right? D6, okay, pretty good. At least he can stop e5 here. So this one actually is pretty good one. I can tell you that. Knight 3. I will just go for a seamless line. I can also play like f4 or many other things, but I guess this is the easiest. So here, this is available. This is also available here, so plenty of things actually are available here. But once again, I will go for I think it's like the easiest. H3. A very common move. The idea is to defend against G4. A6. In Benoni, there is a very well-known thing that whenever you see A6, A4 right away. So now, obviously, I think he's still fine. For me, this one is like an inaccuracy earlier. Should be 7. I start feeling that he started playing something pretty odd. B5 cannot be played, right? Since the rook here is pinned. And with this move here, he seemed to prepare B5. But a main issue here is that somehow he could not really deny out his wall, right? Which I think will be really passive for him to deal with. So here, I will say we have many ways to try and play here. Many ways. In fact here, for the content, like, you know, in a blitz game, let me play like e5. Takes and play d6. Forcing him out and back home to f8. But I don't know, I think that might be fine. But that might be harder to learn since like you need to play very precisely at the end of the day. So we just like something simple, bishop c4. Bishop, I put it here, so that later on I can play e5, and my pawn can be covered. Second, I can put pressure on this diagonal as well, right? So now if like castles, e5 can really become a threat. Okay, a6. Okay, now sure I can play that, but still, castles. I want to be full ready for the assault. And now, e5. I don't know if you see the thing here, but this is getting very annoying. d5 leads to d6. When the pawn trot bishop, you from further right away. This is also the reason why I put bishop on c4, not on d3. Not only it can defend the pawn later on, right? But also it doesn't block the way of the queen here in the game. Also, it put pressure on this diagonal as well, right? Also, there's one more idea here is that it also prevent idea to play c4 by black, which can be tried at some point. So in the game, I won a piece, right? And now we came to the conversion part very quickly after, I think, 14 moves. Knight c6. Okay, so now we are a piece up. You can convert by so many ways. Rook d1, bishop e3, so many things, right? In the game, I guess I would just go for the simplest. Free pawn. So this is the free pawn for me. Not yet can be the way to try, but you can just take the free bishop, right? So take here with the queen, and now we are up a piece. The thing here is that not only we take the free pawn, also now you can see some pressure in this diagonal, right? Which is why bishop c4 here is much better earlier. This is literally winning. I don't see how I can get out of this one. I think this is the only way I can see. Just take here, and then I trying to return. Okay, so my opponent got tilted, guys. I think he locked off right away. So you will see me winning here in 15 seconds. In fact, this is the second game in a row that my opponent was pissed off by my play and resigned by this way, you know, which is not fun. Sadly it is, but it didn't happen, you know, so GG's. And now 1200. Somehow, so this is already a loss, you know. I'm already a piece up now. I will mention to you guys later on about how to convert this, but this is the way that sometimes, like when you're so tilted, you may try that, right? I have this guys, like, you know, even this kind of thing sometimes, you know, even in my blitz games, so I can understand this one. Okay, so we got a game and we climb to 1200. Let's try to analyze the game again, which actually for me, I think it is kind of instructive, especially when we see a new opening, right? And then we can be able to know some different setups against that. So in the game, b4, a6, c4, c5. So, as I mentioned earlier, here I can play various stuff. e3 is called, like, I think it's considered the easiest, you know, the easiest. When I can defend the pawn here, and then I can keep my pawn center pawn, the same, say here, for instance, right? But like let's say here, this one, and a3, right? When this is actually a line in the queen's gambit, playable one, but leads to equality at the end of the day. Knight f3 here is also playable when I can defend the pawn with the knight, right? So let's say d4 here, this one, and this one, and then here, for instance, which I think is a line that is also seen a lot nowadays. In the game, I play d5, which I think is the most active response, and give me the line, I think I'm able to have some small space in the center, right? In the game, knife is here, let's say 3, takes, and now we got to the Benoni defense, guys, which is a line that you can see it happening via different move order: d4, knife 6, c4, c5, d5, e6, right? So now we have in this one in the different move order, but we still see this line happen again, right? So as mentioned earlier, that's how chess is. It's like, although you may play it differently, the move can still be working and still be seen here in different move order. In the game, takes. So here, I will talk about the main line first to tell you about the ideas briefly, so you can be able to understand some ideas first. First of all, the main line here is always d6. When you just prevent white from expanding in the square. In fact, in the game, I realized that I made a mistake right now, actually. But okay, I'll mention later on. So this main line here. So the things like e4. Here, white can play many different kind of setups. You can play here in g3, which leads to some kind of Catalan setup. Let's say here, this one, and then rook e8, right? And then like 92, and then like here and here, 97, this one, this, or I think like knight h5, I think so. The h3, I think so. I don't know. Actually, this is the one. Also, I can play as well too, which is also reasonable, but it is equal nowadays. Another line I can show you here is like what I play myself in some classical games. F4. When white opted for, I think, a pretty solid variation. Here, so e4, g7, h3, castles, and e3. When it's like this, like you see here, right? 27, e2, and here 92. Rook e8 here, castles, and then like queen c2, rook e1, and you slowly prepare like in the center. That's what I play myself, So I know ideas is pretty well. Also, you can do another thing here, for instance, which may be a bit more trickier. Let's say like e4 here and f4. This is called the pawn storm variation. This one and e5. This is called the pawn storm variation, which can lead to something very, very odd. Like this is the main line 97 here, I think so. And then this is the one, which is actually worse for white, but leads to something very, very odd. Like you see, for instance, right? Here, this, and white's our pawn. You see already, right? Things look so damn odd. And also very complicated too. So in fact here, you see, right? There are many possibilities here, many different ideas, right? That you can try to go for white. In a game, opponent play b6, which I think actually is wrong. Now after the game, I realized that I missed a nice idea here. I can play something much stronger. d6 exclamation mark. Apparently this is the thing, to punish his mistake. But I forget to put one in the game. I guess that I was just like, somehow just want to tell you guys about the main idea of the line. So play e4, but this one is just much stronger. Why? First of all, you now prevent black from developing properly, right? He couldn't develop easily at all. Also, you have many ways here to threaten him. For instance, play here, right? Queen d3. And suddenly, queen e3 is kind of super strong, guys, right? The only way to get out is like queen c8, and then play here, and then now black can't even develop at all. Like bishop f4, castling, queen e3, and the win looks close, right? Also, one more thing I want to show you is that if you play like this one, g6, you have knight d5. See, right? Another threat from another angle. You see how effective the pawn is for you, right? Here, e4. You play here. Now, how can white win material, guys? This is actually is an easy question. How can white win material? Here there are many ways to win material. I suppose the easiest way is surely queen d5. Right? When somehow he kind of gets both. Also, don't forget about queen e5. See, right? Suddenly, own kind of threats. Queen a2 is okay, but we can play here, right? It should be 7. And f3 can play here when, I don't know. Obviously, you have a piece here, but your king is also not that developed, right? There might be some trouble. But queen e5 here is much better, right? When now own threats are going here, and there's no way to defend it. You understand? So here, this one is already super annoying for him, in my opinion. That's why here, d6 is kind of the must play for him. You understand me? So in the game, he play here, I play e4, which is fine, I guess. But I can play d6, which is much better, in my opinion. But here, f3, g7, h3, defend against the pin, which is also a very common theme. So if you play here first, right? Here and here, right? When the pin will always annoy you. It is not that threatening when you get better, but for now, I want to tell you the way to get out of it. In the game, so h3. This is here, a4 right away. You need to remember right away that you cannot allow your opponent to play b5 in this line. I want to show you first instance play here, right? b5, and now he can play like here and then like b4, c4, right? When suddenly he gets activities in the queen side, which you might not allow. So in the game here, got okay a4, d7, which obviously is wrong. As I mentioned earlier, he should not plus one. He should like castles 97 here or like some for instance, which lead to a game that obviously I'm doing fine. Right? Let's say bishop c4 here and here, and then I can like bishop f4 here, e1, and like push the pawn and send it later on, which is looking playable, right? In the game, we play d7, c4 in the game, f6. In fact, the fun thing to show you is that now the engine claim the best move is retreat, right? To show you that this one is very dubious. b5 is not a thing, isn't it? And this one also prevent him from developing properly, which doesn't seem right? So in the game here, it's just here. He also prevent me from getting this one as well. But this one, I guess, is not the best way to try. Castles, and e5. In the game, he hang a piece here, right? Here and hang actually right away, which is kind of reasonable. In the game, he even quit again right away here, right? But this is already losing. The best way to play here is to go knight e8. But I can try something like e6. See, right? It looks actually incredibly strong for me. I can show you a sample line that I see in the game. That is just very fun. Takes. Bishop here. And now I had a wonderful move. Knight e5. 2 exclamation mark. This one is wonderful. Also a super strong move as well too. Here I take the knight here, here and here. And my knight joined the game with Crazy Fox. The idea is that if I play here, right? I took the queen, and suddenly I get a discover check, right? When it is over instantly. You understand? Somehow I can play e5 earlier too. But here, let's say here for instance, right? I can play this one, but then I don't see the great way here to prove that I'm winning, Here for instance, like here, I can play like maybe here or maybe here. When now, in fact, the engine told me that the best way to play is knight b5, something very tough, very tough. That's why, you know, I would not be able to fight that. Here the engine believes that, okay, why is the better due to much better activity impetus, but it's tough, right? So in the game, I decided to go for something which I think is easier. Somehow, you can be able to understand it better as well, isn't it? Go for the center push. When pieces are already, and then putting him into big pressure, isn't it? I guess the thing I can say it last in this line is like knight here, for instance. Swan, play here, right? And then rook one, for instance. You can already see how passive black is, right? And obviously here white is obtaining a great edge in the game. But this is like the lesser evil. Like he should play that to prolong the game. In the game, he mess it up and the game is over, right? Pawn is dropped here, I can just go for the threads here, threads, and then win the game, converting a piece up. Isn't it? Okay. So any question about the game? Can you understand me well? Somehow the game featured, I think, a very interesting variation that is not that rare. But I guess that it is good for you guys to explain all the concepts and then the idea to play in the Benoni, right? Which I really hope can be important and something that you guys can benefit from. If you guys want to follow me, please come to my channel on YouTube and I will appreciate that. Feel free to give me any feedbacks and hopefully you enjoy the videos. Thank you and stay safe. See you in next videos. Peace.